What if I told you the biggest reason people fail is not because they're not smart enough, not talented enough, or not lucky enough, but simply because they give up too soon? Think about that for a second. How many dreams have died not because they were impossible, but because someone let fear, doubt, or temporary failure convince them to quit? Maybe you've been there, facing rejection after rejection, pouring your heart into something with no visible results, feeling like no matter what you do, success just isn't happening. And in those moments, the little voice in your head whispers, maybe this isn't meant for me. But here's the truth. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your ability to keep going when everything in you screams to stop. Because success isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's about one thing, the refusal to give up. Step one, the power of resilience. There's a reason why the most successful people in the world share one common trait, resilience. It's not intelligence, connections, or even hard work alone. It's the ability to get knocked down, take the hit, and stand back up stronger. Life will test you. It will throw challenges in your path that seem impossible to overcome. You will experience rejection, failure, and moments when everything in you says, this isn't working. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is what happens in that moment. Think about some of the greatest success stories. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary has also faced extraordinary obstacles. Take Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Imagine that. 10,000 failures. Most people can't handle 10. But he didn't see failure as a reason to stop. He saw it as part of the process. Each failure brought him one step closer to success. But he didn't give up because he understood something most people don't. Resilience is not just about bouncing back. It's about pushing forward even when every logical reason tells you to quit. Resilience is what keeps an athlete training for years even when they lose more games than they win. It's what drives an entrepreneur to keep building their business even after going broke multiple times. It's what allows a person to get up and fight for their dreams even when the world tells them they don't have what it takes. But here's the thing. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop. It's a muscle, and just like any muscle, the more you train it, the stronger it gets. Most people want success to be easy. They want to wake up one day and have the perfect life, the dream job, the financial freedom, the happiness. But they don't realize that behind every success story is a person who refused to break under pressure. They refused to let failure define them. Instead, they used it as fuel. They turned pain into power, obstacles into opportunities, and setbacks into setups for their biggest comebacks. Resilience isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about thriving because of it. It's about looking at every challenge and asking, how can I grow from this? What can I learn? Because the truth is, every great achievement is built on a foundation of failures, struggles, and moments of doubt. The only difference is that the ones who make it to the top are the ones who refuse to stay down. Step two, rewiring your mindset for success. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but for most people, it's also their greatest enemy. The way you think determines the way you live. It dictates the actions you take, the risks you embrace, and ultimately whether you rise or fall. Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because their mind convinces them they can't succeed before they even try. They carry limiting beliefs, stories they've told themselves for years. Stories that say, I'm not smart enough, I'm not lucky enough, or I don't have what it takes. And because they believe it, they act accordingly. The mind is like a program running on old scripts that were written years ago. Scripts that might have come from childhood, past failures, or the opinions of others. Maybe someone once told you that you weren't good enough, and without realizing it, you made that your truth. Maybe you failed at something once, and instead of seeing it as a learning experience, you made it part of your identity. But here's the secret. You can rewrite the script. You can rewire your mind for success. Just like a computer, you can uninstall the outdated, broken beliefs that hold you back and replace them with new ones that empower you. The first step to rewiring your mindset is awareness. You have to recognize the negative patterns in your thinking. Every time you hesitate to take action, ask yourself, what am I telling myself right now? Is it something that moves me forward, or is it something that holds me back? If it's the latter, challenge it, question it. Because most of the time, the stories we tell ourselves are just that, stories, not facts. You weren't born thinking you weren't good enough. You weren't born afraid of failure. Those were learned beliefs, and anything learned can be unlearned. The second step is replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I'm figuring this out. Instead of I'm not good enough, say, I am becoming the kind of person who can achieve this. Your brain believes what you repeatedly tell it. It doesn't know the difference between truth and a lie. It only knows repetition. If you tell yourself every day that you're not capable, your brain will find ways to prove you right. But if you tell yourself every day that you are growing, evolving, and moving towards success, your mind will start looking for evidence to support that too. The third step is taking action, because rewiring your mindset isn't just about thinking differently, it's about acting differently. When you start shifting your beliefs, you have to reinforce them with action. If you believe you're someone who never gives up, then prove it to yourself. Push through when things get tough. If you believe you're capable of success, start making decisions that align with that belief. Every small action you take in alignment with your new mindset strengthens it. Most people never do this work. They go through life reacting to their thoughts instead of challenging them. But the ones who succeed, the ones who break through barriers, are the ones who take control of their minds. They train themselves to think differently, to see obstacles as opportunities, and to push forward no matter what. The mind will always follow the patterns you set for it. The question is, are you training it for failure, or are you training it for success? Step 3, action over excuses. Everyone wants success, but very few people are willing to do what it actually takes. Most people convince themselves that they need the perfect conditions, the right timing, or just one more piece of information before they can take action, and so they wait. They wait for motivation, they wait for the fear to disappear, they wait until they feel ready. But here's the truth. Waiting is just another form of fear disguised as logic. It's an excuse that keeps you trapped in the same place, day after day, year after year. Excuses are easy. They give you a way out. They let you justify staying in your comfort zone, avoiding discomfort, and never taking responsibility for where you are in life. It's always something, right? I don't have enough time. I don't have the right connections. I don't know how to start. But if you really look at the most successful people in the world, none of them had perfect conditions when they started. They didn't wait for everything to line up. They just moved. They took action, made mistakes, learned, adjusted, and kept going. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself you're going to start something tomorrow? Maybe it's a business idea, maybe it's getting in shape, maybe it's learning a new skill that could change your life. But when tomorrow comes, something always gets in the way. Life gets busy, you get tired, and suddenly another day, another week, another year passes and nothing changes. Why? Because excuses are addictive. The more you use them, the easier they become. They create a pattern, a habit of inaction. And once that habit is in place, breaking free from it feels almost impossible. But the only way to get what you want in life is to move beyond the excuses and step into action. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Action is the cure to fear, doubt, and procrastination. The moment you take action, you shift your momentum. You stop thinking and start doing. And once you're in motion, something powerful happens. Your brain starts to adapt. You start building confidence. You start proving to yourself that you are capable. The biggest mistake people make is thinking they need motivation to take action. But action doesn't come from motivation. Motivation comes from action. The more you do, the more inspired you become. Think about a time you didn't feel like working out, but you forced yourself to start. After 5 minutes, you felt better. That's because your mind follows your body. The same applies to everything else in life. If you wait to feel motivated before taking action, you'll be waiting forever. But if you act first, motivation will follow. Taking action isn't about being fearless. It's about moving forward despite the fear. It's about committing to a decision and figuring things out along the way. If you wait until you know everything, you'll never start. Success is built on imperfect action. It's built on learning through experience, making mistakes, adjusting, and improving. Most people spend their whole lives trapped in the cycle of someday. They have dreams, ambitions, and goals, but they let their excuses keep them stuck in place. And the worst part, they don't even realize they're doing it. They convince themselves that their reasons are valid, but deep down, they know the truth. They're choosing comfort over growth. They're choosing excuses over action. And as long as they keep doing that, nothing will change. Step 4. Embracing failure as a stepping stone. Failure is one of the most misunderstood concepts in life. Most people fear it, avoid it, and do everything in their power to prevent it. They see failure as a sign that they're not good enough, that they've reached their limit, that maybe success just isn't for them. But what they don't realize is that failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of it. Every successful person has failed more times than most people have even tried. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They used it as a stepping stone. The problem is that from a young age, we're conditioned to see failure as something negative. In school, if you fail a test, it's a bad thing. In society, if you fail at a business, people judge you. Because of this, most people develop an unhealthy relationship with failure. They start playing life safe, avoiding risks, sticking to what's comfortable, and staying inside their little box because they're terrified of messing up. But what they don't understand is that by avoiding failure, they're also avoiding growth. They're avoiding opportunity. They're avoiding the very experiences that could push them to the next level. Every failure carries a lesson. When something doesn't go as planned, it forces you to reflect, to analyze, to ask yourself, what can I do better? That process of trial and error is how you refine your skills, how you get smarter, how you become stronger. Without failure, there is no progress. Imagine a baby learning to walk. They don't stand up and run on their first try. They fall, they stumble, they struggle, but they don't stop. They keep trying, adjusting, improving until one day they take that first step. If babies gave up after their first fall, no one would ever learn to walk. Look at the biggest innovators in history, people like Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, and Walt Disney. They all failed. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before coming back to revolutionize the tech industry. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. Walt Disney was rejected by bankers over 300 times before finally getting the funding for Disneyland. If any of them had let failure define them, the world would be a very different place. But they didn't. They embraced failure, learned from it, and used it to propel them forward. The reality is, the more you fail, the closer you get to success. Think of it like a numbers game. If you only take one shot and fail, you might think this isn't for me. But if you take 10 shots, 20 shots, 100 shots, your chances of success skyrocket. The more you put yourself out there, the more you learn. The more you learn, the better you get. The better you get, the more unstoppable you become. Failure also builds resilience. Every time you get knocked down and choose to get back up, you're training yourself to be mentally tough. And that toughness is what separates those who achieve greatness from those who settle for mediocrity. It's easy to keep going when things are working out, but can you keep going when everything is falling apart? Can you keep believing in yourself when the results aren't showing yet? That's the real test. And the ones who pass it are the ones who rise to the top. The truth is, failure is never final unless you decide it is. It only becomes permanent when you quit. But if you treat it as feedback, as a lesson, as a necessary part of the journey, then failure stops being something to fear and starts being something to embrace. Step 5, the emotional fuel for your deep why. Success isn't just about talent, hard work, or even strategy. Those things matter, but they're not enough. What really separates those who push through every obstacle from those who give up is something deeper, a powerful reason why. Your why is the emotional fuel that keeps you moving forward when things get tough. It's what gives you the strength to keep going when motivation fades, when failure knocks you down, and when everything in you screams to quit. Without a strong why, even the best plans will fall apart. But when your why is strong enough, nothing can stop you. Most people never take the time to uncover their real why. They set goals based on what sounds good: more money, a better job, a bigger house. But those surface level desires won't get you through the moments of struggle. When things get hard, and they will if your reason for doing something isn't deeply rooted in emotion, you'll walk away. That's why so many people start something with excitement but quit as soon as it gets difficult. Their why isn't strong enough. Think about it. When someone says they want to get in shape, they might start by saying, I want to lose weight. But why? If the answer is just because I want to look good, that's not enough to create lasting change. But if the reason is because I want to be healthy enough to play with my kids, or because I lost a family member to heart disease and I refuse to let that be my future, now we're talking about something deeper. It's an emotional why. And emotion is what drives action. The most successful people in the world are the ones who have a why so powerful, so deeply connected to their identity that quitting simply isn't an option. Think of someone like Elon Musk. Why does he keep pushing SpaceX and Tesla forward even after multiple failures? Because his mission isn't just about money, it's about revolutionizing the future of humanity. That's a why strong enough to endure ridicule, bankruptcy, setbacks, and years of struggle. Your why has to be personal. It has to hit you at your core. It can't be something shallow or based on what society tells you should matter. It has to be something that ignites you, that moves you on an emotional level. Maybe it's proving to yourself that you're capable of more. Maybe it's breaking a cycle of poverty in your family. Maybe it's showing your children what's possible. Whatever it is, it has to be something that makes you emotional when you think about it. Once you find that deep why, everything changes. You stop looking for shortcuts and you start doing whatever it takes. You stop making excuses and you start finding solutions, because now it's not just about the goal, it's about something bigger than yourself. That's the kind of why that keeps you up late working on your dreams while everyone else is sleeping. That's the kind of why that gets you out of bed when you don't feel like it. That's the kind of why that gives you the fire to push through anything. Most people never find this kind of purpose because they don't dig deep enough. They stop at the first answer that comes to mind instead of pushing further. If you really want to understand your why, ask yourself, why do I want this? Then take that answer and ask why. Again, do this 5 times, each time digging deeper into your emotions. By the time you get to the 5th why, you'll have something real, something that will drive you to keep going no matter what. When you have a deep emotional why, nothing can break you. Obstacles become temporary, setbacks become lessons, failure becomes fuel. Because when you have a why strong enough, you'll always find a way. Step 6, your future is in your hands. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you dream of. No one is going to show up and do the work for you. If you want something more success, more freedom, more fulfillment, it's on you. Your future is not determined by luck, circumstance, or what happened in your past. It is shaped by the choices you make today, by the actions you take right now, by the mindset you build every single day. Most people go through life as if they are passengers in their own story. They blame their situation on external forces, where they were born, the opportunities they did or didn't have, the people who wronged them. They convince themselves that their fate is already written, that they have no control, that life just happens to them. But the truth is, every moment, every decision, every thought you entertain is shaping your future. Whether you realize it or not, you are making choices every day that either move you closer to your goals or further away from them. The problem is that most people don't take full ownership of their lives. It's easier to blame the economy, their upbringing, or bad luck than it is to look in the mirror and say, I am responsible for where I am and I am responsible for where I go next. But the moment you accept responsibility is the moment you take back your power. Because if you are the reason you're stuck, that also means you are the solution. If your past choices have led you here, then your future choices can lead you somewhere else. That realization is the key to everything. Think about the most successful people in the world, self-made entrepreneurs, athletes, leaders. What do they all have in common? They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They didn't wait for someone to give them an opportunity. They created their own. They took action when others hesitated. They took risks when others played it safe. They failed, they learned, they adjusted, and they kept going. They refused to be victims of their circumstances. Instead, they became architects of their own destiny. And that's the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. It's not intelligence, it's not talent, it's the mindset of ownership. The ones who succeed are the ones who take control of their lives. They decide what they want, they commit to making it happen, and they take consistent action until they get there. They don't wait for things to change. They change themselves. They don't let fear stop them. They push through it. They don't make excuses. They find solutions. The reality is your future is unwritten. It's an open book, and you are the author. Every single day, you are writing the story of your life with the choices you make. Are you writing a story of action, growth, and achievement? Or are you writing a story of hesitation, regret, and missed opportunities? That's up to you. You have everything you need to start moving forward. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to decide that from this moment on, you are in control. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more playing small. The future is yours to shape, but only if you take full ownership of it. At the end of the day, everything comes down to one simple truth. You have the power to create the life you want. Success isn't about luck, talent, or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking action, pushing through failure, rewiring your mindset, and refusing to let excuses hold you back. It's about finding your deep emotional why, the fire that keeps you moving forward when things get tough. It's about embracing challenges, learning from setbacks, and using every obstacle as fuel to become stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than ever before. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't opportunity, it's mindset and action. The ones who win are the ones who take full responsibility for their future. They don't let fear, doubt, or past failures define them. They don't wait for permission or perfect conditions. They decide, commit, and move forward with relentless determination. Your future is in your hands. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. The choices you make today will shape the life you live tomorrow. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, take control, take action, and never ever give up. Because the key to success is in your hands.